I'm joined here by Ben, and together with him, we thought that we could put up a really nice video in which we're going to explain a best practice guide to your Gravitas Ultimate Vac fountain pens. Super happy to have you back for another video, and for this one I'm joined by Ben, who is actually the maker of this pen. So who better should we ask when looking at the best practice guide when it comes to this specific writing instrument? Because we had a lot of requests lately. I have a specific thing happening on this fountain pen, or how should I do this or that? So what better way than to just put everything in this video and let the man who made this actually tell us how to care for it. One of the most common things that we would like to address in this video would be how you actually get to maintain your pen by greasing it. So Ben, what would be the time frame or the use factor in which just people watching us can relate to our video and understand how to care for their pen?
What do you mean time frame?
I mean, every single wash, every single feel, every single week.
So how often should you?
Yeah, how often and how to do it actually.
Well, it's subjective. So how often do you change your ink is how often you should clean your pen, I suppose.
Jesus Christ, that means that I'm slacking with my maintenance, because I usually exchange like 2 or 3 inks a day on a pen like this. So
Well,
I should have.
Some people use ink a lot. People have journaling and jobs where they just need to use a lot of ink. But some people like to change ink every day, every week. So if you do like to change ink often, you do have to maintain a pen, especially with the Ultem. Ultem is a bit more grippy than acrylic, I suppose. We encountered a problem that the gasket can come off.
Usually this happened to me as well, but it was when I didn't knew about the maintenance on this specific writing instrument, and I started to feel that the piston was gripping more and more by the barrel. And all of a sudden when I pull the rod like this, it becomes very loose and the piston just slides off that. It would be okay to say that even if we're gonna change inks often, with every single ink change, just a little bit of a dab of silicone grease or something could be something that we can work in our maintenance schedule.
Ideally, you should do it every time you clean the pen. So if you're changing the ink, every time. I know that seems a bit extreme, but you're removing some of the grease every time you move the gasket up and down. And to effectively clean a pen, you have to use detergent, and detergent can then also remove the grease.
We have here the Gravitas silicone grease, and actually this is available on the Gravitas website. This is not your typical grease because it's a little bit more of an oil consistency, very like runny, and it's going to actually it's made for this pen and pens like it from Gravitas.
When I was actually getting the grease made, I just went to the company and I told them what I was going to be doing, what materials. I said recommend it. And
even with something that you have at home like silicone grease, normal one, it's still okay. But this is something which has this thing that comes out
and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's very easy to apply. Like for example, let's see if I can get this. Okay, so just go like this around.
Yep, and then when you pull it back a little bit,
and
there you go.
You can take a paper towel and you can wipe the excess off, but basically it's greased and you just have it move freely.
So some people don't like the ring of silicone grease that you get around a pen. You get it up the top and the bottom. Yeah, we get it with piston pens, back pens. Sometimes the ink can slightly mix in with it, and people don't like it, but it's a good thing. It's there to lubricate. If you don't like it and you wipe it off every time, you have to re-grease it every time. So just make note of that.
When this fountain pen is used with lubricating inks, it sort of prolongs that moment that you feel that the piston is going to start to grip. But no matter what ink you use, the best practice would be to grease and maintain the flowy motion of the piston as it's recommended by this person right here, which is the manufacturer. of this pen. So another interesting fact which I would like to demonstrate is how you would just open one of these fountain pens carefully with an object which it's slightly an overkill, but this is what I had around me. So proceed with care when using this scalpel,
Pipe grip.
pipe grip. When you see your surgeon with one of this, you run. You would actually use something like a cloth or like a piece of rubber that we have, or even like a tissue, paper tissue, and you would just take this part right here, which is the upper part of the assembly plate of the fitting system. You can cover that in order to not damage it. Then you would grip by it like this, and you just grip it, not squeezing too much in order to not damage those threads. And you just untwist this, and you will see that it starts to move, and you don't need no specialty, too complicated tools in order to just remove the back assembly like this. So now you have access towards this O-rings right here. You can clearly see right here the piston gasket, and always the orientation needs to be with the thicker diameter facing the nib and the thinner diameter facing the back plate right here. So this is how you would take apart something like a Ultimate Vac in order to clean it, maintain it.
A quick way of redoing a pen. Do you want to show me the pen?
Yeah.
To redo it.
Oh my God. So now I can put it back. I didn't even knew that. You completely tie the end knob. You can insert the back assembly. Yeah. Once you break the initial seal of the threads and you don't go that deep when you put it back together, you just can use your fingers to take it apart. So no need for the tool even after that. But proceed with care. Let's just say you would have something like this. So a complete separation in between the piston head, gasket, you name it, and this. It is not a catastrophe. It's something which is very easy. Either you take the whole piston apart like this, or if you would be having it inserted like this, and if you want to just put it back, I would say that if you have one of those plastic straws, you can use one of those, and you can just put this, align it with the thicker part facing the nib like this, and then if you put it like that and you center it using a plastic straw, you can just apply pressure and to insert it on the rod. Ben, any more quick tips and guides regarding the vac in order to prolong its lifetime, enjoy it for many time?
I suppose how to actually use caps, or how to thread a cap. There's many ways to do it, but there's the best way, I suppose.
The safe way, the best way. I do the backwards until I hear a click.
Yeah.
And then I go forward.
Ultim is what's the best term? It's it galls up. So Ultim can gall up because it's really hard. It's really rigid, so it's not flexible. So with these type of threads, if you just go backwards one and you hear that click, okay, can we put it up to the mic? Do the ASMR thing. So when you hear a click, that means you can go forward. And the click is how you can align a thread. And sometimes when you have a single start thread and you can't find it, just go backwards. And then you'll hear a click. Where's the click? There. But you just go backwards. Can the mic pick that up?
It's here, Mike.
That's it?
That's it.
Yeah. So, and then forward.
Okay.
And then
if you take it slow and you just do this in order to center the threads and to make sure that whenever you go and commit to just tightening that cap, you just align it. I'm pretty sure. What are you looking for?
I want to do it with another brand to show that it works with other brands as well. Sometimes
like a pilot here?
Yeah, I suppose. But if any pen, not just my pens, but any pen, if you just go backwards, there. So you just go backwards and you hear the click. So that's it basically slipping into place, and then you can go forward. So imagine that it slips down and then you can go back into place. And you can do that with any pen that is cross threading, I guess.
I would say that in order to keep those threads in a way which are operating safe, and they're gonna hold you for a long time because, well, let's face it, it's Ultem, which is threading in titanium.
Well, titanium is quite sharp. The fine threads do catch, so that's just a lesson I learned. Sometimes you just have to make a lot of pens, and then you see small little problems, and you can fix them. Some of the problems I wouldn't say they're small, but we've definitely improved things. We've learned from this system. We've vastly improved. I wouldn't say we've improved the system, but we've learned from this system. And
I would say that the variation based on this model that we've seen, which is the Monster, which it's a notch way more up in every single level. Threads, filling system, nib, feeder, assembly. We even right now had like 3 versions of the last production prototype. So it's supposed to be the last, then it was another version, then it's supposed to be the last one, then it was another version.
prototype, like way back a couple of years ago versus now. This is the pocket version, the pocket monster. It was never called the monster in the beginning. I don't know. It was just a new filling system. This
Look how cute it is. It's like a mini Monster.
Yeah, this little fella has 3 milliliters capacity.
Let me show you also how would you take off one of the nib units of the vac, which is also part of the care guide because, well, in the maintenance and cleaning of this pan, some of you face the nib being out. So how something like this goes to happen.
Okay, what are we doing? Sorry?
Just take the nib off, or how you
Oh,
take the nib.
how do you do it? Okay.
Okay.
I use tissue because you're going to get ink on your hand.
Okay, let's have just a small bit because the autofocus is going to be all over the place. So use this just to demonstrate. You're at home, you don't have to worry about the autofocus. So
Oh, right. So imagine your fingers are, I don't know, pincers. So you want to have the nib on its side. So you're going to be pinching top and bottom. Never side to side, top and bottom.
yep.
And whichever way you want to do it, this way, that way. So you put your tissue on and you have to clamp down. So I'm clamping at the bottom, not at the top. Right here at the bottom. And I'm at the base of the nib, as low down as I can get.
Okay.
Yeah. So right there. With this part of the finger here, because you really can clamp down, you clamp down. So you're not twisting, you're clamping down really hard. So you are holding the pen,
By the nib.
yeah, as tight as you can. And you just twist. I actually twist the pen.
I think it's a more safer way to twist the pen, not the nib itself, because you can off-center it from the feeder. So
If you're holding the nib and untwisting the pen, it means that you're safely twisting. But if you're holding the nib and trying to crank with the nib, you can twist up, down, all sorts of ways. So hold steady and then untwist with this hand. Well, that's how I do it. There's a little tiny rubber gasket here as well.
yeah, so don't lose that because it will seal off the ink from coming down into the section. In between the section inner diameter wall and housing wall, there is also a second gasket, which is a clear gasket right here near the lip of the nib unit. So this is also to keep the ink coming from this way when you ink up the pen and you have the nib submerged with the section and everything. So don't lose those. But if you find like you are in need of something in regards of the overall gaskets, O-rings, anything that you would be in need, piston head, you have that in a kit on the Gravitas website.
Yeah, I just want to explain why there's an O-ring. There's an O-ring here and a gasket there, and there's a good reason for it. The nib has to be sealed from all possible points of entry for air or ink. So we want the pen to be completely sealed, and the only open hole is a tiny little breather hole down the bottom. So we want the ink to come up through the feed. And if we don't have that O-ring here or that gasket there, the ink can actually bypass the feed and go down the section, and you'll get a lot of ink in there and it doesn't look nice. So that O-ring and that gasket is actually really important. And when you crank down, you can actually see the gasket seal all the way around.
Yeah.
And then you can see the O-ring seal all here.
The contact point, it's like a black out line here. Ben, this is Ultem. Well, doesn't this mean that I can clean it with whatever substance I want or solvent. Someone who, let's just say, use some exotic inks with this fountain pen, it's due to just clean it.
Yeah, well, if you use any exotic inks that are not recommended for fountain pens, with this pen, you might get away with cleaning it with acetone. But the nib will be buggered. You need a new nib. But you could clean it with IPA. You can clean the pen with IPA. Yeah.
So that will strip the grease. So
Oh yeah.
I would proceed in removing everything and leave like all of the rubber gaskets out, the piston assembly and everything. Then I would take the framework of the pen, which is made in Ultem, and I would be cleaning it with whatever substance I have at my disposal. Then I will be probably washing it with water. Just tell me if I'm doing this okay or
Yeah,
not.
like there's a few things that you shouldn't use, I suppose. Like
Gasoline,
no, you can use that.
ammonia.
Yeah, ammonia. Don't use ammonia. Any crazy acids that will react with the steel or the titanium. So no hydrofluoric acid, no hydrochloric acid, no.
Okay.
Oh, you can use hydrogen peroxide. Yeah.
Jesus.
No, that's normal.
We're talking about serious chemicals. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be in need of those, but a little bit of warm water
Yeah.
and a bath in an ultrasonic cleaner. And if you feel like you need so, a little bit of solvent, something like a pan soap or something. And then you would be need to re-grease everything. And to do it carefully, I believe it's going to be ready to go in.
Yeah. And I'm not recommending that you do clean your pen with acetone or gasoline either. I have to say that.
Okay, so it's a big disclaimer. You've been warned.
You can. I don't recommend it, but it can handle it. But just I think it voids the warranty. I think.
Yeah.
Sure it does.
We're going to talk with the manufacturer. That's kind of it in regards of just maintaining your Ultimate Vac in working condition and for a long time. So take those advices with a grain of salt or not, depending on which advice it was regarding the chemicals.
Oh yeah.
So don't play with those at home. Enjoy your fountain pens for the long time. Get to maintain this writing instrument because it's a fountain pen and it doesn't mean that it will be forever like this. It needs your care. It's not made disposable, like throw it away when it's not working.
It's made to last.
It's made to last, and this
Made
is
to
why
be
we have like kits, parts. This is why we do videos like this, because we intend to have this fountain pens in working condition just as you wish. Thank you for spending this time with us. There is many more content yet to be recorded and to be shared with all of you.
Give us some like video ideas, maybe.
Yeah.
Put some questions.
This could be very interesting.
Yeah. Maybe like weird questions, like not weird, like in-depth.
Pen related.
Yeah. So like
Just,
a question that you might have about pens that you just nobody has the answer to, and maybe I might know something if you have a question, or Emmy might know, because Emmy has a lot of knowledge about.
My knowledge is something that I picked up
Yeah.
working or being surrounded by fountain pens. So my answer would be one that comes from practice and being with this kind of writing instruments for a long time around them and figuring out how they work or anything regarding them from practice and from use. And the answer, the correct answer, the correct answer will be coming from Ben right here.
The scientifical.
So I believe combined this should be like a pretty definitive answer.
Yeah, we'll give the scientific answer.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this. Leave us your questions, just anything that you want
Is there a
to
thing
suggest
that we
us.
point in the corner?
Just in a moment. So down below you'll find the links for our website, our social media accounts, phone number, email, anything and everything that you may need.
Phone numbers there?
The store phone's number, not mine personally. That one is for personal use. So yeah, if you scroll down, you'll find those there. And if you want to help us grow the Pen Venture reach, don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, subscribing there. And if you want to watch more of our content, I'm going to leave you this right here. You can click and enjoy. As always, I'm your host from Pen Venture with Ben. And till next time, bye-bye. So this is a fun one.
It'll be funny.
Yeah.